What's up, people? Glad they came. They cut the grass. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. The reason why y'all see I'm going to talk about Zebulon and Issachar, it may not be in this video depending on how lit I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I am going to talk about it a little bit more, because I'm going to talk about the other tribes. Yeah. Yeah, they came and cut the grass. It ain't nobody out here. So let me go back up this way. This website here is just a little bit stronger than the if I'd have went on the Chrome and tried to do this live, I wouldn't have been able to get nowhere with it. So I'm gonna sit that there. What's up? What's happening? Y'all see I'm back at it again. Uh I was talking about, if you go in Genesis chapter 28, you will see where how the Jews, the Hebrew nation started. It started, the firstborn son of Jacob was Reuben, and the second was Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Dan, and Naphtali, and then they got the other one. And now we know that when Joseph, when Jacob died, I think he was like 80 some years old. I think this was after Joseph's father Jacob died. He went into Egypt. We all know the story of Joseph. When he was put in prison. How you doing? I'm videotaping right here. Yeah, I'm videotaping. That's what. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, you know, like Joseph. We know that he went to prison for something that he didn't do. It was this woman. I think she must have been an Edomite woman. But Joseph was a Hebrew. We all know the story of Joseph, Hebrew. We're familiar with that. This woman was what was this woman? Uh Joseph was in charge. Joseph had been, y'all remember, Joseph was he was an overseer in Egypt. In the process of when he was locked up in prison, he was um he was accused by the Egyptians, his master's wife. She lied on him and said that he tried to rape her. That's what she said. You know what I mean? And when his master's wife came home, they put Joseph in prison, and Joseph served 2 years in the prison. Now, ain't that sort of like what the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans go through? Who fill the prison houses up more than anybody here in America, in the so-called this so-called Babylon? Let me we fill this place up, you know. And the Most High ended up blessing Joseph in the midst of his hardships, right? And I'm gonna talk about something else. And he got his two kids. That's what he got in the land of his affliction. The Most High God gave Joseph two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim would be the greatest, and that's how the Israelite. That's how I think Britain came out of Ephraim. Yeah, and yeah, man. So yeah, so what I'm saying is that I don't even I'm kind of like I'm kind of lost for words, but we all know the story. I'm gonna talk a little bit more on it later on tonight. I don't want to start in it. I don't want to go in and start saying more and not whenever I do the other one, I'm gonna have to make a promise to turn around and put the link to that video in the description box down below. The next video I'm gonna do. When I'm done with it, just click immediately, go and click on it. And if you want to see the rest of the completion of it, of the what I was trying to bring out, you're gonna have to go and take and click the link and watch it. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, you can go and watch part. I think I made a part 2 on. I'm going to talk about Zebulun and Issachar because I want to expand a little bit more on it. You see what I'm saying? So go and watch the other video. It's on my other channel. No, it might be on this channel here because I done gotten confused. But you just Google it up. You can Google it up by name and you can see it like that. So yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm just sitting around here and it was something that I felt like I wanted to say. But I want to make sure I want to have my head clear. But I'll tell you what, let me go up in here and let's see if I can expand on it a little bit more because I don't want to make a video and then turn around and not give y'all the whole full meaning of it, you know. I don't want to start. I don't, yeah, let me get up in here because business is going on in there. You know how it goes, family taking care of business and stuff. Yeah, family taking care of business, and you know how that goes. Now I can take the jacket off that I'm in here. It's kind of chilly outside. Whoops. Oh, wait a minute. I might as well take this thing here and put it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's go to Genesis 28. And all the stuff that I did about Joseph, I'm gonna do some videos about that too. But right now, I'm just gonna give you the basics. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. My bad. I said 28, but I'm gonna say 29. All right, we dealing with. I'll tell you what. Let's look at. Oh, I had it wrong again. Genesis chapter 30. My bad. Genesis chapter 30. And I said the way the offspring started, it started through the lineage of Jacob,
And let's look at, hold on, wait a minute. I want to make sure that, let's see. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's do this here. All right, let's do it from here. All right, here we go. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I think Genesis, let's look at Genesis 29 and 1. And Jacob went on his journey and came unto the land of the people of the east, and he looking, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they went watered the flock, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And hither and thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. Okay, wait a minute. This is not, I don't think this is the one here. It says, and Jacob, and it said, and she said, behold, my maiden, Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. That means they did business, they had sex and stuff. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God had judged me and had also heard my voice and had given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. Okay, now Dan, this is just like going into the into the going after this child. I think Dan was the 5th child, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It says, all right, let's look at. And Jacob came out of the field at the evening, and Laban went in to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have heard I hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son. Okay. And Leah said, God had given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived and bare Jacob the 6th son. And Leah said, God had endued me with a great, with a good dory. Now all my husband, now will my husband now will my husband dwell with me, because I have bore him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulon. And all right, now we going into, all right, the 6th son was, I think, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son. And Leah said, God had given me my hire, because I have given my maidens to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And that's the 5th son. And Leah conceived conceived again and bare Jacob the 6th son. And Leah said, God had endowed me with a good dory. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have bore him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulon. Zebulon was the 6th son. And so Issachar was the 5th. All right, now let's go on. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. So that was the only daughter of Jacob. You see what I'm saying? Let's go on. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God had taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. So Rachel, Um, so Rachel, her son, she had a son. His name was Joseph. It says, and God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. Because remember, Rachel was envying Jacob, and said envied her sister and told Jacob, "You gonna give me children, else I'm gonna die." She pressured him, and then it says, and God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God had taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had bore Joseph, let me read it again. And it came to pass, when Rachel had bore Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go unto my own place, to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my servants, which excuse me, which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord had blessed me for thy sake. Okay, now Jacob had uh, this is when he had Joseph. So that was Jacob's son. That was the one that that had the coat of many colors. And I'm gonna get off into all that, the symbol of that. What was the symbol? What was the symbolic of what that meant? It says, and Laban. Now, when you hear the name Laban, that was Jacob's Jacob's mother's brother. That's who that was. And Laban is the one that Jacob had the two kids by. So he had two kids by his uncle, which was his cousins. And so it said, and Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord had blessed me for thy sake. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord had blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house also? And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. Okay, this is talking about a contract that Jacob has made with Laban, that he will, okay, and I will pass through all thy flock today, and remove from thence all the spinkle, the spinkle and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle amongst the sheep, and the spotted and sprinkled amongst the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Everyone that is not spoken, not spotted, and not sprinkled and spotted amongst the goats, and brown amongst the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. That shall be counted stolen with me. Let me read that again. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come, when it shall come for my heart before thy face. Everyone that is not spotted and not sprinkled and spotted amongst the goats and brown amongst the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he goats that was wrinkled and spotted, and all of the she goats that was spotted and that was sprinkled and spotted, and everyone that had some white in it, and all of the brown amongst the sheep, and gave them unto the hand of his sons. Okay, this is when Jacob was actually, from what I'm seeing, he worked for Leah, and he set 3 days journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. Yeah, I had it right. It was Laban, that was his uncle. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar and of the hazel and chestnut, a chestnut tree, and peeled white shrinks in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had pulled before the flocks, and the gesters in the watering trough, when the flocks come to drink, that they should conceive when they come to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ran straight, speckled and spotted. And and Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the wrinkled and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, when whosoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rod before the eyes of the cattle in the gesters, that they might conceive amongst the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. And so the feeble, when Laban's and the stronger Jacob's, and the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and the maidservants and the manservants and the cameras and asses. So all of this was about how Jacob worked for his father Laban, because he said, remember, he said, I will work again for these 7 other years. So 7 and 7 is 14. So that's what he did. You know what I mean? Okay, now the next story we're going to be dealing with Genesis chapter 31. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this one out, and we're going to go into Genesis 31:1. Okay, yeah, I was just looking over some of what I'm going to be talking about, but let's go back to Genesis chapter 30. I think am I supposed to be reading in 30? where Jacob started the lineage of his it says, and Jacob said unto them, my brethren, hence be ye, and they said of Hiram are we. Okay, notice that. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob's sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said unto him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught. Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the other was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Now, Rachel was younger, Leah was the older one. So Jacob was more attracted, from what I'm seeing, to Rachel. It said, and Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban, which was Jacob's uncle, which was his mother's brother. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man, abode with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, but for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. That means have sex. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. Laban, his uncle, made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Laban, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maiden, for an handmaid. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maiden, for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, which was Jacob's uncle, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Beguiled, deceived, or whatever, seduce somebody or whatever. I think it's more like seduce. And Laban said, it must not be so. And Laban said, it must not be so doing in our country. Let me read. I'm sorry, y'all, my bad. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. This shows you that Laban was a very strict man when it came to his daughters or whatever. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaiden, to be her maiden. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened up her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord had looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. So this will be part 3. Part 3. I'm going to talk about Zebulun and Issachar. So we see that Leah, when she was hated, God saw that she was hated and she was looked down upon lesser than. So he ended up sleeping with Leah first before he slept with Rachel. But in verse 30, Rachel was envying her sister and told Jacob, you got to give me children. Give me, I want children, else I'm gonna die. In other words, you know how sometimes the woman would pressure the man sometimes. And like, oh, you gonna have, like, you usually, maybe you see the man today, they'll be like, man, she trying to have a baby, she trying to trap me and all that kind of stuff. You can tell this is us, you know what I mean? Because think about it, you can tell these are the real Jews, the patriarchs that I'm reading about here. And I'm gonna get off into these tribes a little bit more deeper, and I'm gonna do videos about the spirit of each these nations and stuff. And we're gonna get off into Manasseh and how Joseph, which what I was saying outside earlier. So I didn't want to just come here and just do the video and start doing it. I just wanted to give you more information on this here. So we see it said, and Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. That was the firstborn child of it. That was the first Hebrew child. That was the first Hebrew child. For she said, surely the Lord had looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. See, back then, back before our people was contaminated, before we end up we got entangled with the yoke of bondage with these other nations. It corrupted us. Now today it's like we have been conditioned is to leave our families and stuff like that. Now you see broken homes. We living in this modern time. During this time, you can see it says, she said, now my husband will love me. Now, why do you think she made that statement like that? Because we had standards and morals. We had, this is when we had the family structure. You see what I'm saying? And Jacob fathered the women of all these children. I think it was like 4 wives he had. He had Bilhah, Leah, Rachel, and what was the other one? He had Rachel, Bilhah, Leah, and the handmaiden. I think I'm saying it right. So that was 4 wives. Now I'm trying to think of the last one name. So, but anyway, Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, surely the Lord had looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. Yeah. See, you can tell the Israelite man, we just been destroyed as a people. Since we got destroyed as a people, let me sum it up if this makes sense with excuse me, I went over too far. My bad. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender amongst you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his son, of his children, whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left in him, and in the siege and in the straitness wherein thy enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman amongst you, which will not avenge to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. Now, what I read in Genesis chapter 28, it says Rachel, when Leah said, now that the Lord had opened up my womb, open this thing up. This thing had cut out in the middle of me doing what I was doing. But I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. I wanted to make sure I stopped right there with Reuben. And Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. We're gonna we're gonna go and look at more into this here. And we're gonna get all the way to the last children. Manasseh and Joseph was had by Joseph when he was in Egypt doing his affliction. And Dan was the last child that Jacob had. So I pretty much covered most of the story, but whatever I didn't cover, this is a part 3. Part 3, I'm going to talk about Zebulun and Issachar. But I'm going to go into I'm going to expand a little bit more on Issachar. I'm going to have to use Genesis chapter 49, because Genesis 49 go with that. And then I'm going to have to go in the New Testament and talk about where it says his crucifixion. I don't want to give too much out of the cat out the bag right now. You know what I mean? But leave your comments. Tell me what you want me to, what would you like for me to expand on during these times of crisis and stuff like that. They basically trying to kill our people as the real Jews according to the Bible. That's what they're doing. But in the meantime, I'm just going to occupy until the Most High, whatever, says. So I'm just going to do the best that I can. And all we can do is do the best that we can in this captivity. So let me say this sincerely. I don't want y'all to think I'm just saying this here. I love y'all as my people of color. I ain't knocking none of my people of color. If you want to wear a mask to protect yourself, by all means, just do that. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. By all means, do what you can that you feel in your heart to protect yourself. But at the same time, because the reason why I'm putting it like that is because everybody is not on the same level. Everybody's not on the same level. Some people is not as strong as others. You see what I'm saying? With me personal, no, I don't want to get off into that right now, but I just want to make sure I'm trying to say the right thing, and I just want to be careful what I say to my people. And I don't want to scare anybody. If you feel like that, whatever your spirit leads you to do, if you don't want to distance yourself, I pretty much ain't got no control over that. You free to do what you want to do according to your conviction, but I'm here to tell you that the Most High's protection, turn to Him, keep His commandments, is to the best of my ability. And what I'm saying, turn to Him and keep His commandments. I'm not encouraging you to doing nothing that I'm not struggling in my life trying to do. I wouldn't dare do that to y'all. So we turn to the Most High God, study His Word, do the best we can in this captivity. Do the best we can, and I'm doing it too. I'm not telling you nothing that I'm not doing. So on that note, I'm going to say peace and love to my people of color, and I'm going to see y'all later. And I'll be back with another one. Look out for a part 4, because I want to make sure people understand, so that's why I'm shortening the span of the video, so that people can have time to ask me some questions. Make sure you hit the notification bell twice when you come in, so that you will be notified with every single video that I post when I go live. Now I'm out. I love y'all as my people of color.